And we're here today. We're just sort of our third show since we're back from our hiatus, and we're excited here. And I've got with me today Christophe Dierckx, who's one of the great trainers of Simpson protocols. So I kind of like him a lot. And I think he's a great, great hypnotist. And what I like about Christophe, is that he's a quester. He always wants to understand stuff. He wants to move forward all the time. So what we said was we're going to the next level, which is exploring the mind even further. And we'll go into that more in a bit. But I just want to introduce you to Christophe. Hi, Christophe, and welcome to the show.
Hello, Ines. Well, thank you for having me. How are you doing in Canada?
We're doing good. It's nice weather and it's summer here. And so we're having a good time. It's probably pretty same as in Belgium. And in Belgium, which has sort of a good piece of my heart because I was born there. So you're in there now, but I'd really want you to tell us a little bit about yourself a little bit, and then going maybe into your explanations that you want to talk about. Okay?
Okay. My name is Christophe Dierckx, and I'm a hypnotist working in Belgium at the age of 43, two beautiful children. And I know Ines now since 2014, I think.
I think so. I'm not sure. It seems a lifetime.
It's been quite a ride.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're going to talk to them a little bit about hypnosis therapy, right?
Yeah, just a really quick overview for our listeners about hypnosis. There are different styles of hypnosis. You have the Ericksonian or indirect hypnosis, which uses a lot of metaphors and tries to work around resistance. Then you have the well-known direct suggestions. You have the regression to cause. You have all different styles of hypnosis. And then you have our way of working with the Simpson protocol, which is a combination of trance and spirituality, which is going really, really well. Now, there are three segments about working with the Simpson protocol. First, the client. No? Oh,
there's three segments to the show.
There are. Sorry, engineer. Oh, okay. Sorry. Now, first,
I did.
The client achieves a profound level of trance, nice and deep state of hypnosis, and then we set up a connection with something wise, which we call superconscious mind. Now, what is a superconscious mind? It is difficult to explain, and probably it is a combination of the higher self and guidance. And superconscious mind has also a birth perspective. It has an overview. It knows what is going on in our life, and maybe also other lives. It has the information which we so desperately need. Now, we set up a feedback system through which the superconscious mind can communicate with us. And we do this easily by using idiomotoric signals, by setting up finger signals or finger movements, a yes finger and a no finger. And setting up a yes and a no finger is only to have feedback. That's it. Now, some people can also use their voice to provide the information. This is called channeling. But not everyone can use their voice in trance. But to move your finger is really easy for most people. You only need two fingers, and that's it. So we can ask superconscious mind a question, and it will answer with yes or no to us. And then probably all the fun begins. And Ines, maybe you have some analogy with
for me, hypnosis in the past has always been through what we call the subconscious. Now, mostly, all right, biggest percentage of hypnosis is developed through the data bank of the subconscious, which holds all our memories and all our things that happened, all our feelings, everything and anything. So I call it a data bank more than anything. And it works by being triggered, and it'll always do what it ever did before. So let's say you always react one way to something, right? And you will always react that way unless that's changed in the data bank. So, but what we're doing is actually moving much forward. I always use the analogy of a cave, and we've been standing on the outside of the cave looking into the mind, sort of hanging there. So now we are actually modern hypnosis, not just SP, but there's a lot of us that are moving forward, going in the cave and turning lights on and looking and searching and questing. And we are now in a new age of moving forward. I call it the last frontier, the mind, because we've been everywhere on earth. There's probably a lot more other places to go. But I think the mind is where we are questing at the moment, at least from the hypnosis point of view. So for me, the superconscious, again, is similar to what you say. I agree with all that. But we also have gone beyond that, because now we know there's other places to explore in this cave. Now, the thing about it is, it's just, I'm going to sort of compare it to our system of the internet and computers, because people understand that stuff. So if you are just using this laptop that I'm talking into right now, and you are just going down and working on the software, there's something wrong, there's something here going on, you are working just in that. Now today, the way the internet works today is that it's totally connected on everything. You're talking to Alexa to start movies. They even run their lights off, those things. Everything is connected to the internet. So when you are working and just fixing the little thing on your, right inside your app or whatever, your software in the computer, you are still connected to anything and everything else. Well, let's talk about all that other stuff that's out there. And, they come in phishing, or they come in with negative emails, viruses, all that stuff. So we, as SPers, we go with the superconscious, which is like an algorithm that continues to learn and teach us at the same time. So it keeps evolving, and it keeps making sure that we get into all those negative places and get rid of them, and attach to positive places that actually will enhance our experiences. So it's an algorithm. If you understand that, I'm not really understand what it is. Don't ask me to explain the mechanics of that. It just works really well. That's all I know. And this is always experiential hypnosis. It's proved by experience. And we have that experience every day with our clients in the chair. So you agree with that?
Yeah, so if a client comes with a problem, you would like to know where the problem is originated.
Yep.
And how to solve the problem, correct?
Yeah.
So because we have the help of the superconscious, we can verify what the root cause is.
Yeah.
By asking questions, we can easily pinpoint and find out, hey, what's going on here? And how can we solve the problem? That's it.
And
so on the one hand, we have
yeah.
a verification. So on the one hand, we have a verification tool.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, we have the solution, a practical healing, so to speak.
Yeah, and we also actually can go beyond the root cause nowadays with SP, because we actually can clean up any effect anywhere from any kind of website out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, indeed. And the cause of a problem can be literally anything. You cannot imagine what people are experiencing. No. It's infinite. It's crazy.
No. I know. I've had some really interesting sessions lately. And, people will come in and they'll say, well, I did a smoking session the other day, and, I think it's this, this, and this. But of course, it's never this, this, and this. It's very unlikely. Sometimes that's a little effective somewhere, but it's not where we need to go to really shift that. So when we shift those things, it's not just the smoking that changes, it's their life that changes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting from my point of view. And I know you've done some pretty incredible stuff with it, because it is kind of a protocol. It means you can address it with anything, and you just have ideas, and you have intentions, and you actually are moving SP forward, as most of my trainers are. But we do that. That's what, because it's not just me anymore. There's not just my little box. You got your box, and you open yours up all the time. And so I'd like you to talk a little bit about some of that other stuff we talked about earlier.
Okay, thank you. So on the one hand, we have this superconscious mind, which is our guiding system. We can ask questions to it. But since a while now, we are also exploring a level up, which we call Ultra. It's a guide of the guide. It's the co-creator of mankind. Now, there is a fun story on the previous radio show we had on Hypnosis Everywhere, where I explained how it communicates with us. And those who are interested, maybe they can check the archive of voice.
Martin will probably put it on the show page, your last show anyway, so they can go back and listen to that too.
Yeah. Well, all of the shows are online and accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Now, bottom line, Ultra, it's a benevolent, it's a powerful, it's a wise energy. Always was and always will be supporting mankind, and it's accessible for everyone. So if we speak about Ultra, if we speak about superconscious mind, everyone is on the same page here in this radio show.
Yeah.
And the system, how we work, whether it is with superconscious mind or Ultra or both, it's the same way. The two are interconnected, and probably we human beings, we tend to make things more complex by labeling all this stuff.
Well, yeah, because we talk about it, that's it.
Yeah, but just by asking the right questions, the door will open.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, if I may, Ines, I want to tell you about a process in our body, just for starters.
I'd like to hear about it, yeah.
Well, which we verified many times through superconscious mind and Ultra. And I did not invent this process, nor am I the first to describe this. No. Many people have described this before me. But it is extremely, extremely important that everyone knows about it. And I think this radio show is a good platform to share the information. So let's discuss a process in our body, which is not only mysterious, because it doesn't present itself in 3D, but elusive. And we don't know how to get to it. And yet it belongs to us all. It's my firm belief that we, as a human being, we are not working on full capacity, as to say it like that.
Not surprised.
The process that I would like to present to you is called innate. And for our Dutch-speaking listeners, I translate it to het autonome. Het is niet het autonome zenuwstelsel, het is nog iets anders. Now, what makes it mysterious is that it's not a brain function. It perhaps is one of the only systems in the body that is not centralized. It's difficult to explain, difficult to believe, maybe even difficult to understand. Not yet discovered by science, but it has been presented itself over and over again. Now, what we have in our DNA is very difficult to explain. The trillions of DNA molecules in our body are all in communication with each other all the time. And this has to be the case. Now, if you think about it, which cell knows where it has to go and what it needs? It's spectacular. Now, innate is responsible for that. The DNA is esoteric central control. It is the field of information around that trillions of pieces of DNA that knows itself as one entity. One entity is innate. So you might say that it is a combination of the DNA cells in your body seen as one thing. It is decentralized. Now, there is not one organ in the body responsible for innate. Every single part of the body is involved in smart body system. It's wonderful. Now, those practitioners who use, for example, kinesiology or muscle testing, they know they are talking to a field, not an organ, not the brain. It is body-wide, and innate is everywhere. It's in our hair, it's in our fingers, it's in our organs. And when a human being, for example, has his spinal cord severed in an accident, broken, cut, a man or a woman in a chair who cannot move nothing but their head, does it make sense to you that all of the nerves in the spine are severed, are cut, and that the other parts in the body, they continue to work? Strange. The heart continues to beat, digestion continues, reproduction continues. Most of the function below the neck continue to function, and yet the brain is not sending any signals anymore through the nerves. And how do you explain that? It's innate. It is the DNA which keeps you alive. And all the time, even though the spinal cord is severed, innate, the smart body, will keep you alive. Even if the wires to the brain, they are damaged. Now, innate is connected to the higher self. Innate is connected to Akashic records. Innate is connected to this information. There is accumulative DNA consciousness in its field. It's time to think of DNA as one thing, not trillions of separate things. Now, we do know that our brain is programmed for corporeal survival. Innate is programmed for spiritual survival. Now, what is the mandate? Our brain keeps us safe day to day, corporally. But innate, our DNA knows what to do everything to allow an awakening to take place, to allow humanity to cross this bridge and move into an ascended status. It is a system of, let's call it spiritual survival, to push us forward into spiritual awareness. And I think we are about to
we've got
take a break.
Yeah, I think I really like the way you've explained that, especially the smart. What did you call it? The smart something?
The smart body, yeah.
The smart body. Now, I like that term. Maybe I'm going to start using it when we're talking and teaching people, because it sort of brings it into a realm of conscious understanding more, right? Anyway, there's 30 seconds left, so maybe we'll continue this after the break, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.
You're listening to Hypnosis Everywhere, the Simpson Protocol. To reach the show today, please call into 1-866-472-5792. That's 1-866-472-5792. You may also send an email to Inez, that's INES, at InezSimpson.com. Now, back to this week's program.
Well, welcome back to Hypnosis Everywhere, and I'm going to go back to Christophe in a moment. We're going to get him to talk a little more about the smart body, because now I'm going to take ownership of that term for the radio show. So we're going to talk a little more about the smart body, and we'll talk about all kinds of other things, because SP is moving forward. It isn't just SP. I know that. We are, many of us, moving into a modern realm of hypnosis. Or are we returning to old hypnosis terms? You know, we can go back a long ways, and people will say, oh, that was all superstition. That was all this. They were way ahead in many ways. So are we just returning, or are we questing and getting somewhere new? It doesn't matter. Okay, Christophe, can you keep going about that smart body?
Okay. Well, in the process, innate also crosses the bridge of corporeal chemistry in very different ways. Innate is responsible for spontaneous remission. So how can you have a disease disappeared overnight? How can tissue in an accelerated fashion grow overnight? It's innate, and that is the power we have. So when innate finally starts to build the bridge to the corporeal self, the human being will have a long life, even growing limbs back, repairing itself. But that's not how it is today, is it?
Not yet. No.
No.
We are questing.
Yeah. Now, there is a link between innate and karma. Now, where is karma stored? And what is karma? Karma is the result of past life experiences pulled forward through the veil into a reincarnated body. And that is the philosophy of incarnation. It is an energy of unfinished business. No. That's karma, and it is in the DNA, and innate governs it. Now, through our way of using hypnosis, it is easy to drop karma. Just ask it. We address the superconscious mind and ask if it's beneficial to drop the karma. If so, do it, please, and let me know with the yes finger when it's done. It's that easy. Remember, and this is for all the listeners, remember, we have our feedback system with the superconscious mind. So we have a direct communication line. Now, innate, as smart as it is also programmed. It won't let the karma drop automatically. It is programmed for survival in spiritual self. And consciousness is the key to change innate. Now, through our connection with superconscious mind and ultra, we create more consciousness. How would you like to trigger your own spontaneous remission? Think about that. So this karma is the Achilles heel of your personality. It is the energy of the past. Get rid of it. And remember, in hypnosis, we establish this connection with superconscious mind. We can ask his help. The recalibration is not automatic. We have to do it by our own choice. And by using this manner of hypnosis, it's done. Now, there is also a system connected with innate, which is called reincarnation. Reincarnation is the engine of the system of spiritual advancement on the planet. You live a lifetime, you learn certain things, and then you die. Over and over again. Now, here's what innate learned the system of reincarnation requires to operate. Are you ready? It's death. In order for you to graduate and pick up the wisdom and move forward to a higher spiritual consciousness, potentially in the next lifetime, the potential only exists with death and rebirth. So innate, on purpose, will give you relatively short lifetimes. What a system. Now, we as humans have the ability to stay alive. We have the potential to have longer lives. Innate doesn't know this. It's an old system. Compare it with a computer operating system, which needs to have an upgrade. Isn't it logical that by having a longer lifetime, that we don't have to be reborn and grow up all over again? We can stay here. We don't have to lose all that time, because every time you die, you need 20 years to grow up and to function in this society. Now, a few months ago, I ran into someone, his name is Eric, and he told me, well, Christophe, we live in a reality which is a projection. It is a manipulated world, like a computer program, but the program is hacked. And we are stuck in this dimension and are unable to free ourselves from it. It's not normal to be stuck in a system of reincarnation. And there probably are energies or entities benefiting from this system. Now, the information he gave me was difficult to grasp for me at that time. But then I started to read some books confirming the idea that cells can live 1,000 years. I've read some books about written by Russians like Arkady Petrov and Grabovoi, and they already explained in their works in 1996 all this, the same information. Now, if you study the Kabbalah, the information is more or less the same. The information of Bashar, Cryon, explained it over and over again, all saying the same thing. By communicating with the superconscious mind and ultra, we can reach out and explore these new boundaries of our mind. By communicating with the superconscious mind, we can simply ask all the questions, and we can verify, is this true or is this not? And this is for all the listeners. You do not have to believe my explanation. Go and check it out for yourself. Have the experience. It makes common sense to communicate with innate and say we don't need to die to have spiritual growth. We don't need to die in order to capture the ideas of an advanced spiritual thought. The key to stopping the aging process, as we know it today, is by communicating with innate and say, hey, I don't have to die to have spiritual growth. Now, we may live a lot longer than we want to, and I guess Martin would like to stay longer on Earth. No. The biggest obstacle to achieve the new outcome is our rational thinking. Doubt, resistance, old beliefs. Can this be true? Am I worthy enough? But by bypassing the critical factor in hypnosis, it sure is more obtainable. It sure is more practical, so to speak. Now, for me, spirituality needs to be hands-on. It needs to be accessible on a day-to-day basis, not some big ideas out there somewhere. Now, by communicating with the superconscious mind and ultra, life sure has become more interesting. The information to work with has come to me through my own system, but also by other people giving me ideas and new information. And I sure would like to thank all of you by using this media, by using this Voice America radio show. I truly feel blessed, and thank you all. Now, probably the most important thing for the listeners today is that they know that there exists a system which is accessible for everyone, which is benevolent and strong and capable of helping you, easy to access. And I think that's a great move forward.
And
it is. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say the interesting thing is when I started creating SP back in 2005, I had no idea of any of this, and it's just our clients that were opening us up and training us and all these other ideas. And now that we have maybe nearly a dozen trainers and more people are spreading around the earth, it's growing so fast. And our intelligence understanding is understanding a little more each time. So I said I was going to take them to the next level. We haven't talked to anything about this sort of stuff before. I'm sure this is pretty new stuff for everybody to know. And, you know, we're just going to push that envelope because it's evolving constantly. Evolving or maybe it's just our understanding that's becoming more, it's not that it's evolving, it's that our consciousness is evolving to the point where we understand a little bit more all the time, right? Little bits. So tell us a little more.
Well, it is probably also difficult to grasp for a rational mind. It is difficult for regular medicine or for science to catch up with this idea of spontaneous remission. because in order to explain it, you have to broaden your horizon. You have to incline different aspects of as spirituality is one of those aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Wilber, you know Ken Wilber, the philosopher in the
Sounds
States?
familiar. Yeah, go
Well,
ahead.
he explained this over and over again in his book, and he is calling this an integral system. So whether you want to whatever you want to explain, you have to integrate all aspects,
Mm-hmm.
make it holistic. If you accept a more wider vision, which integrates esoteric beliefs as reincarnation, as the quantum structure of the DNA, a higher self, guidance, then a whole new world opens up. It's not that regular medicine never has seen spontaneous remission. They just have no explanation for it,
Mm-hmm.
therefore ignoring it. Now, when I went to the sleep clinic to double check my sleep apnea, which was gone a few years ago, I remember the neurologist saying he couldn't understand why the sleep apnea went away. I remember standing in his office and explaining him I let go emotional stuff, and I created the sleep apnea by myself, and I let it go all by myself. I was responsible for creating it, but I also let it go. Now, how did you do that? He asked. And I answered, well, I use techniques in hypnosis and also a little bit of NLP. And the good doctor, he doubted and said, well, maybe you're right. And I asked him, okay, what do you think the reason is for my recovery? And he told me, well, spontaneous remission, spontaneous release of the sleep apnea. Now, the good doctor was simply flabbergasted that the same machine in the same hospital, which gave him the info of having sleep apnea 10 years ago, was now indicating this person has a normal sleep pattern. He could not understand this. He honestly stood there, not having an explanation how this was possible. I did not lose weight. I had no operation at all. It was the first time in his 30, 40-year career that this happened. And probably if I would have went to another hospital to check it out, if I was healthy, well, they probably would have told me there was a mistake in diagnosing me 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And that I never had something like sleep apnea. Yeah. And I can guarantee you many years ago, I was ready for the garbage bin. I stopped breathing 37 times an hour. I even thought about ending my life. But because of having children, I kept on going. And now here I am in 2019. Every morning I wake up and I smile.
Mm-hmm.
So let's hope by broadcasting these shows, some people pick it up and consciousness continues to grow.
Yeah, that's the hope, of course, that people will be open enough to at least think about it and then move forward in their thinking. Because you know what? We all have limiting beliefs on every level. And just because we programmed ourselves or the external area programmed us to be who we are today. So, but we can be open and just say, well, it's possible.
Yeah, well, and then you have also politics. Huh? I have clients with sleep apnea or with other physical problems like for instance cancer. And in fact, in Belgium, I am not allowed to work on these issues because I'm not a doctor. And I guess also in the States or in other countries, it's forbidden. Now, I always say, let's go to work on the feelings of having self-love, a feeling of being worthy. And I would like to say it again, we as therapists cannot help someone else. We can only helping yourself. You have to do the work by yourself. I cannot do it for you. But by using this magnificent tool of trance and communication with superconscious mind, a whole new world of possibilities opens up. Now that you know, it's crazy that the possibilities are infinite.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, it looks like we're going to another break, so we'll see you on the other side. Thank you.
Coming back.
Okay, we're coming back.
Is everywhere. The Simpson Protocol. To reach the show today, please call into 1-866-472-5792. That's 1-866-472-5792. You may also send an email to Inez, that's INES, at InezSimpson.com. Now, back to this week's program.
Well, welcome back. And this is going hypnosis everywhere to the next level for sure. So we're discussing the art and science of hypnosis. And I'm just going to go right back to Christophe so he can continue.
Now, you know, working with the superconscious mind is so helpful because it takes away the pressure from our shoulders. Mm-hmm. We, as hypnotists, don't have to be creative and think how to help our clients. Now, the human mind is so complex. It's a immense complex system. The human body is also a complex system. And the interactions between humans is also complex. So you have all of these complex systems who actually interfere. And I'm honest, I don't understand those complex systems. My rational thinking, my analytical thinking, even how big it is too small to comprehend all these complexities. But by using the superconscious mind, or by communicating with the superconscious mind, we do not need to understand it, because superconscious mind does understand it by its own. Ultra understands it. It probably created it. So we have the help of something really, really powerful. And you know, sometimes clients who have no background at all in spirituality are finding this difficult to understand. And it simply may be too frightening, knowing you are communicating with a creator or a god. and with those people, for example, if they have physical issues, I additionally tend to ask also the help of a specific energy called a Dr. Hamer or a Dr. Bates. Now, I always ask Hamer to join the session when there are people with cancers, and Dr. Bates for people with eye problems. Now, the clients don't know, but Hamer died in 2017. He's passed away. Bates was an eye surgeon, and he wrote the book Perfect Sight Without Glasses in 1920. So he's also passed away. So I ask in the session if they can join me and help, and every single time they do. And even though the clients have no clue at all who I am speaking to, they all say, "Oh, Christophe, from the moment you spoke about that doctor, I felt safe." It's so funny, as if God or the Creator can't help them, but the good doctor is. It's so funny.
Well, the thing is too that, you know, with that we're talking spirituality here, but if we're going into quantum physics and stuff, all their knowledge is in the field. So
it's all information.
It depends how you look at it. That information is accessible spiritually and scientifically. If they want to, we're looking at it from our perspective of spirituality today. And I want them to know that it also comes in any other kind of way you look at it and how you explain it. I'm very much spiritually oriented, so I tend to agree with Christophe. But I want you to think about it. just open to possibility, open to understanding that those fields are out there. All that information's out there. And all you have to do is ask, like he says.
Yeah. It's funny. So strange things happen in the office. I remember one day a lady came to my office. Let's call her Martina. Huh? Now Martina is a beautiful woman, age mid-40s, but she doesn't feel feminine. No, and although she went on a regular basis to the hairdresser, but that's the only thing she did for herself. She always wears trousers, no skirts, no dresses. Always flat shoes. Is that the correct expression in English?
Yeah.
No high heels. So, and she also did not have a relationship for a long time, a really long time. And she asked me, "Well, Christophe, is this normal?" Oh, I laughed and said, I don't have a clue. I'm male. I don't wear dresses either. But anyway, she went in trance, and I set up the connection with superconscious mind and also ultra. And relatively quick, I found out that she has a second soul, not just a soul attached to her. No, a real second soul in her system. So I wondered, and I asked superconscious mind if this was the purpose of having two souls. And the answer was no, it wasn't. But yet, the second soul was in her system. So I asked the name of the other soul, and Martina replied with her voice, Peter, with a Cockney, with an English accent. Said, oh, okay. Now, to make a long story short, the superconscious mind took this Peter back to where he belongs, and I finished the session. And a few days later, I got a text message from Martina telling me she feels relieved for the first time in her life, and that she wears a dress, a high heel, and enjoying the looks of that she gets from men out on the street. She felt really feminine. So I guess this Peter was holding her back in her development. Really, really strange.
And the interesting now is too, Christophe, that us as being on the outside, we don't judge what's going on there. No. We never judge. We always just ask questions till we find the right ones,
Yeah, exactly. Now that we are on the subject of having two souls, lately a lot of people come to our office and have two souls in their system.
Yeah.
Who actually do belong there.
Yes, true. Very much.
But it needs to be balanced out of the system. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more about it.
You and I both have been getting it, and now the other trainers are getting it. I think maybe whoever's up there has decided I can help with this. So evolution of the spirituality, right? This is an evolvement of the spirit. So I ask, when it comes now, is it appropriate and beneficial and optimum for both those souls to be in that connection, in that same, and it usually says yes. Sometimes it says no, and then we do sort of like we did with the lady with the feminine, we figure out we get it, they both go to where they need to be, so that they're back to being alone. But sometimes they don't seem to be needing to be alone. In fact, it's sort of an ordained thing, an agreement of some type that I can't really get to total understanding of yet. I don't know about you, but I haven't got to total understanding of it. But I do know that if we balance it, we ask ultra and superior and all those facets of the superconscious, we ask it to do the balancing between the two, make sure that, the other soul, if it needs work for any reason to become into that, where they can have homeostasis or balance between the two and function as not necessarily one entity, but in total support of each other so that they can help each other be going in the right direction without any hindrance from the other one. So we get into balance, we do all the other things. And at that time, that seems to bring it into and the person that's in the chair usually says to me, well, that's totally makes sense to me. And now I feel different. Just, I'm sure that's what, we've only got a few minutes left. So maybe we better explain that as much as you can too. Because right now our knowledge has only been, what, maybe half a year old or something.
Yeah, it's completely new for us, but it's interesting. Mm-hmm. And once on a timely fashion, this superconscious mind, it gives us new ideas, new information, how to work on
and
this.
How it does suddenly, it, we all get stuff all at the same time. It's just like Alexander Graham Bell when he made the phone. The other one, who was it? I can't remember. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of other people working on it. But it seems like saying, he said, oh, you guys are doing SP. Now you've gotten to this point and suddenly your clients show up and we all start learning new stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's always been the way. It's just that we notice it because we talk to each other and we know that's happening. And because we are doing SP for the evolvement, body, mind, and spirit, right? We're not just doing it to get you feeling better or to develop that. We work on a holistic basis with the whole person. So I think that's why it comes to us. And as we talk, we're willing to ask the questions. We're willing to open up and ask something else that might seem crazy to everybody. And we do that and we move forward.
I think really that is the benefit of using this way of Simpson protocol by using it on a holistic way. We help people on a mental plane, on an emotional plane, on a physical plane, spiritual plane, but now we also can help them on informational plane. It really has no limits.
So there's all kinds of things, though. I mean, levels of body, everybody's always agreed there's an etheric level, there's this level, but, in spirituality. But we just go and we use it in a spiritual way. We use it in just a normal, mundane way. We use everything. It's very holistic. And we only got a couple minutes left, so I'm going to have to say, maybe I'll just have to have you back on this show again, not too far down the road. And I'm going to have to tell you, next week, we're doing Open Up Your Mind some more with Bob Burns. The creator of the Swan, but we're going to talk about more stuff, and it's going to be the next level. So we're going to really enjoy that. And I really thank you, Christophe, for being here. And I get to see you again soon. Alone.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And I would like to thank the listeners for taking time to listen.
Because I think we're going to get lots of feedback from people that are interested in this. And we'll start to, as we learn more, we'll just let you know more. So we're coming to the end of the show. And again, thanks very much. And Bob Burns next week. And we'll see you, Hypnosis Everywhere, the next level. And bye for now.
Okay, goodbye.
All right, you're clear.
Thank you. Awesome.
Have a good week.
You too. We'll see you next time.